So good day everyone. How are you? I hope everyone is doing well. Now I will be discussing the foreign affairs and economic affairs of the UK, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But before our formal discussion, I would like you to remember that last week or this few days, the United Kingdom was one of the leading headlines of the world news. Why? Knowing that Queen Elizabeth, their monarch, celebrating her 70th anniversary of being a queen in the United Kingdom. And now she's considered as one of the oldest monarch in our century. Anyways, that event showed that we can interfere that particular event in the United Kingdom how great and influential this UK throughout the world. Not even the celebration of their queen has its impact to the people around the world. And this supremacy and great influence of UK will be reflected in their foreign affairs. So now, let's try to understand and deepen our knowledge the foreign affairs of the United Kingdom. So fasten your seatbelt and we will start now. So the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, the leading agency of the United Kingdom responsible to initiate and establish diplomatic foreign relations with their country. It is headed by the Foreign Secretary. So if UK has a Commonwealth and Development Office, Philippines also has the Department of Foreign Affairs responsible for diplomatic ties, diplomatic and foreign relations of the Philippines. In United Kingdom also it has this office now responsible to initiate and establish relations or strengthen foreign relationship of UK to the other countries around the world. So it is headed by the Foreign Secretary appointed by the Prime Minister. So just like also in the DFA, we have the Foreign Affairs Secretary appointed by the President. Same function, same role, which is to establish and strengthen relationship of the countries of the that country to the countries throughout the world. So in UK's foreign affairs, the Prime Minister and numerous agencies play a role in setting policy, and many institutions and businesses have a voice and role. So in UK, guys, no, their Prime Minister, of course, the appointing officer of the Foreign Secretary, has a role in setting policy. The foreign policy of UK, it depends upon the discretion of the Prime Minister how we will interact, how we will settle and how we will establish a diplomatic foreign relation to other countries. So it greatly depends upon the discretion of the Prime Minister and the other agencies, specifically in the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, to the initiation in establishing a foreign relation. And many institutions also and businesses have a voice and role. So of course, in establishing foreign relationship, it is not also about having a simple relationship between countries, simple ties, but it also include the economic impact to the country. What if they will have a tie to this country? What would be the benefits they will get and what the benefits that they can contribute to that country? So that's known as the give and take relationship also in the foreign affairs of that country, specifically in UK. So that's why the businesses also has a voice and role. So historically, UK was the world's foremost power during the 19th and early 20th century, most notably during the so-called Pax Britannica, a period of totally unrivaled supremacy and unprecedented international peace during the mid to late 1800s. So, it is recorded in history that Great Britain or the UK was great, great from its name itself. Especially during in the Pax Britannica, that's the period of unrivaled supremacy and unprecedented international peace for UK. If we will say that if there's a question, what's the great country in the world? The answer is the UK. So that's how great, how powerful UK during the time during the Pax Britannica. But according to them, nothing is forever because In 1956, the Suez Crisis of 1956, an embarrassing incident led to the UK's dominant role in the global affairs to be gradually diminished. The incident in the Suez led to the or started to diminish the global dominant role of UK. So that's the thing that happened that time that lead to UK to diminish its dominant role in the global affairs. But despite of that, the United Kingdom remains a great power and a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. So though their greatness, their foremost power was gradually diminished during the incident of the Suez Crisis in 1956, still United Kingdom, the UK, remains a great power and a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Being a member of that Security Council is a great honor, is a great privilege for a country, because whatever the decision of the United Nations Security Council, the United Kingdom has its voice. It can vote either to affirm or negate the decision of other countries is in terms of peacekeeping throughout the whole world. So that's how great, powerful still the United Kingdom at this moment of time nowadays. The UK had been member state of the European Union since 1973. However, due to the outcome of 2016 membership referendum, proceedings to withdraw from the EU began in 2017 and concluded when the UK formally left the EU on December 31, 2020. So the European Union, it's the organization of all European countries, the countries in Europe. And UK was member of that since 1973, but due to the membership referendum of the country, they decided as a state to withdraw from EU. So it's still a it is still a discretion of the prime minister, the decision of the citizens of the country. They still continue to be part of that organization. So the result, no, they will withdraw from the EU in 2017, and it is formally concluded when they formally left EU on December 31, 2020. Be guided and remember those dates in the history of, or in the withdrawal of UK from the European Union. The United Kingdom is actively engaging and participating in different international organizations in order to strengthen their foreign, economic, humanitarian, and military partnership with other countries around the world, around the globe. So, of course, no? The United Kingdom is establishing relationship to strengthen their foreign, economic, humanitarian, and military partnership. There are many aspects why UK is active in engaging, in participating, in developing and formulating relationship to other countries. It is for their foreign, economic, humanitarian, and military partnership, in which they get benefits from that aspect. Hindi naman siguro go ka lang kapag walang benefits. So that country settle that looking for the benefits that will return to them. Time will come. So the following are the international organizations that the UK belongs. So they're part of their foreign affairs. UK is the founding member of the following organization: the G7 or the Group of 7, G8 the Group of 8, G20 the Group of 20, NATO the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, AUKUS a trilateral security pact between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, OECD, an Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, WTO, World Trade Organization, Council of Europe, OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, Commonwealth of Nations. So those organizations, international organizations, UK was one of the founding members. Imagine how influential that country, able to establish, able to found to initiate a global organization. So aside from being founding members, UK is also members of the following: ADB, Asian Development Bank and non-regional member; AFDB, African Development Bank, a regional member; Arctic Council observer, Australia Group; BIS or Bank for International Settlement; CBSS, Council of Baltic Sea States, an observer; CDB, Caribbean Development Bank; CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research; AAPC, Euro-Atlantic Partnership Council; EBRD, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development; Food and Agriculture Organization; FATF, Financial Action Task Force; G5, the Group of Five; G10, the Group of 10, that's for Economic Affairs in International Organization; IADB, the Inter-American Development Bank; IAEE or the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency; International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO; ICC, International Chamber of Commerce; ICCT, International Criminal Court; ICRM, International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement; IDA, International Development Association; IEA, International Energy Agency; IFAD, International Fund for Agricultural Development; IFC, International Finance Corporation; IFRCS or the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies; IHO, International Hydrographic Organization; ILO, the International Labour Organization; IMF, International Monetary Fund; IMO, International Maritime Organization; IMSO, International Mobile Satellite Organization; Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization; IOC, International Olympic Committees; IOM, the International Organization for Migration; IPU, Interparliamentary Union; ISO, International Standardization Organization; ITSO or the International Telecommunications Satellite Organization; ITU, International Telecommunication Union; ITUC, International Trade Union Confederation; the MIGA, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency; the MONUSCO, the United Nations Organization Establishment Mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo; NEA, the Nuclear Energy Agency; NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group; OAS, Organization of American States Observer; OPCW, Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons; Paris Club; PCA, Permanent Court of Arbitration; PIF, Pacific Islands Forum Partner; SECI, Southeast European Cooperative Initiative, an observer; UN, United Nations; United Nations Security Council; United Nations Conference on Trade and Development; UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization; UNFICYP, United Nations Peacekeeping Force in Cyprus; UNHCR, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees; UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization; UNMIS, United Nations Mission in Sudan; UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Work Agency of Palestine Refugees in the Near East; UPO, the Universal Postal Union; WCO, World Customs Organization; WHO, World Health Organization; WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization; WMO, World Meteorological Organization; WTO, World Trade Organization; Zanger Community, also known as the Nuclear Exporters Committee. So those are the organization that UK was a member. So that's how great, how influential this country. A lot of organization either belong a regional or a non-regional partnership. UK established its foreign relations. So that's how great UK, how influential this country throughout the world. So we have the trivia. The United Kingdom contributes to some 30 international organizations approximately 0.5 billion, billion euros a year, which cover to human rights, trade and economic issues, health and humanitarian issues, and disarmament. So we'll always remember that UK established its foreign relation to the countries around the world to, to secure a foreign, economical, cultural, social, and for security purposes. So that's the mission of United Kingdom and actively contributes something, especially during relief to operation to other countries, especially if the other countries are suffering disasters. No, so that's 0.5 billion a year allocation is for the development, not just for one country but throughout the whole world. So that's great. The United Kingdom contributed for the world development. So after knowing the foreign affairs of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, let's proceed to their economic system. But first, alam nyo ba that the United Kingdom has an advanced open market economy in which the prices of goods and services are determined in a free price system. So that's the policy, or that's the price mechanism in the economy of the United Kingdom. Always remember, advanced open market economy. So let's proceed. The budgetary policy. So the United Kingdom is fiscally a highly centralized state. The central government has considerable control over their budgetary policy. Most of their public spending is directly or indirectly controlled by the central government. This means that the central government has to shoulder the blame if things go wrong. The golden rule of UK fiscal policy was to limit deficit spending to investment over the business cycle. However, public spending as a proportion of GDP increased. So, highly centralized state. So, the planning, the budgeting, the public spending of the United Kingdom is controllable by their government. So this means, no, it's stated here that if things go wrong, the government will be held liable since they have the control, the jurisdiction in planning, in budgeting, in their budgetary policy. So their rule is to limit deficit. So of course, that's the target of almost country, to limit deficit spending to investment over the business cycle. Of course, to stabilize, to maintain the stability of a particular economy, limiting deficit spending is the key. The tax policy. So the United Kingdom has a progressive income tax system. The balance between direct and indirect taxes is reasonably fair, as measured in terms of horizontal equity. Property taxes are high and have high increase for purchases of high-value houses, but labor taxes are low compared with many other EU member states. So, progressive income tax system. Remember that. That's the tax system of UK. Progressive. It means if your salary increases, your tax to be paid to the government will also increase. So that's progressive. Nagsaka imong sweldo, nagsaka pud ang imuhang buwis or buhis. So the property taxes are high, so in UK, but labor taxes are low. So it's good to hear, no? If other policy means property taxes, it means you can afford everything. You can buy something. You have a great asset or great number of assets, and your labor taxes are low, so it's good for the laborers that their taxes are low. It means especially to the minimum wage earners, if their country they have like that, so it is good, it is sound good for their economy. So that's the tax policy of United Kingdom. The economic policy. The United Kingdom economic framework was substantially reformed after 1979 in a market-friendly direction, and most of these reforms were maintained after the election of the Labour government in 1997, albeit with some rebalancing towards Labour interests and reduction of the minimum wage. So after the Labour government, so the Labour government is one of the party in the party system of the United Kingdom. So now elected last since 1997. So there was a changes, rebalancing to the interest, no introduction of the minimum wage, so that there will be a rule, there will be a standard uh wages, especially to those who are having especially not in a professional area, not professional jobs. In research and innovation policy, the United Kingdom's tradition of being an active player in research and innovation dates back to the Industrial Revolution. The country's clusters of preeminent universities have for a long time played an important role in linking cutting-edge academic research with industries such as biotechnology or information and communication technologies. Of course, United Kingdom as one of the leading country, no more on discoveries. So they have also allocated budget for that, for research and innovation. So since the Industrial Revolution, they are also one of the country leading to that revolution. They continue that effort, to be active in research, in data gathering, especially in biotechnology. So as we acknowledge now, what United Kingdom or in Europe, that country was one of the producers of the many antibodies and vaccines are good for the health of the people around the worlds. And also in communication technology, so there are a lot of innovations that happen in our world in the field of internet, also began with from the researches gathered by the United Kingdom. The global financial system. The City of London is home to one of the world's main financial hubs. Consequently, governments in the United Kingdom have traditionally tried to protect the interests of the City of London against more intrusive regulation, whether national, European, or global. Governments have argued that special characteristics of London as a financial center are not given sufficient attention by Brussels in particular. So, global financial system. Globally, UK is the home of the world's main financial hub. So that's also how great this UK, this United Kingdom, in terms of a home of the world's main financial hub. So it's a great for them, so that they protect the interest of London to aid any regulation, because it will also affect, it has an impact to their economy. So sa kutob sa makaya, they will protect the interest of London for the benefits of their country. So the Bank of England. So the Bank of England, that's the central bank of the United Kingdom. It is promoting the good of the people of the United Kingdom by maintaining monetary and financial stability. So if the Philippines have the BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the United Kingdom has the Bank of England, their central bank that promotes the good of the people by maintain their financial stability. So di ba krisis ang kwarta England, because they have the Bank of England that will regulate their monetary aspect. Their currency, known as the pound sterling. So remember, pound sterling is the currency of the United Kingdom. Okay, the current GDP of UK as of 2021, the gross domestic product of the United Kingdom was just under 2.2 billion British pounds, an increase of approximately 152.3 billion pounds compared to the previous year. So as we see from this data, that there was an increase of the current GDP of UK as of 2021 compared from the previous year. So it sounds good for their economy that there was an increase of their GDP. So the current debts and deficits. So the UK general government gross debt was 1,382.8 billion euros at the end of 2021, equivalent to 102.8% of gross domestic product. This was 34.5% lower than the average debt of the G7 member states. So even UK, no, known as the powerful country in the world, still have has debts, no? Has utang, may utang pa rin kahit yung powerful country. But anyways, in utang it is good, no? Okay naman, it's good for you to debt if you have the capacity to pay for it. So that's the rule. So if many financial institutions will allow that country to engage to enter a loan, so it is an indication that the economy is moving and has the capacity to pay for it, because there will be a inventory before the loan or the debt contract will start, mansan. So that's a policy. So we have UK also has a debt. In UK, government or general government deficit or net borrowing was 187.4 billion euros in 2021, equivalent to 8.1% of their GDP. This was 0.3% lower than the average deficit of the G7 member states. So still, no, we cannot deny the fact that deficit still happen even in the powerful countries, because the more projects they implemented, the more also discrepancies that will happen in their measures, in their computations as a country by their economic managers. So it is undeniable. It is inevitable. We cannot deny that fact, even to the powerful countries. And I think that's the end of my report of a discussion from the given topic about the foreign affairs and the economic system of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So I hope that you learned something from my discussion. So remember the key points, the important terms, the important data that I've shared to you, the dates, no? So that we will be more aware about the United Kingdom, one of the great, influential, and powerful country around this world at this moment of time. That would be all. Thank you and God bless us all.